Alright, let's see. I think yep, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Excited for that Bloodborne sequel? Howdy, Xavier. And no. I lost all interest in Duskbloods the moment we learned that it was like a Nintendo exclusive and probably gonna be like some multiplayer type thing. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Maybe I'll do lore for it in the future, but like, I'm probably not gonna own it and play it. Probably not. No. Let me make sure things are turned down a little. Gosh. That's fine, because we have Bloodborne. Although it's still not coming on PC. There you go. There we go. Boop-a-doo. Oh man, I'm stuffed. I am stuffed, chat. It has been a full Easter, that's for sure. No, Shoki, that we won't get a sequel. Okay, here I was thinking you were being clever. My mistake. Clearly. Clearly, I need to think lower of my chat. I think it's stupid referring to Duskbloods as a Bloodborne. Well, I've seen enough people make the joke, so... I've most certainly seen enough people make the joke. Uh-huh. Nothing interesting here, huh? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. The power of the arcane. It allows candles just float. There we go. Ah, beautiful. Ah! Oh. There we go. Well, the American stuff is coming out. Oh! I did not even realize I was taking damage. Well, the America stuff is coming out nicely, so... I'm trying to see if I can work in a really truncated thing on Jar Saints, just for the transition. Like, I'm trying to keep it under a page, if possible. Because what I really want to talk about is the relationship between Marika and the Hornset, and I want to get that out of the way. Just because it's really hard to talk about anything regarding Marika becoming God, and the Game of Divinity, and all that jazz. Okay, your horns. Without it. Schmucks, no DS2 stream. No DS2 stream today, no, Bray. I don't think I need any DS2 screenshots at the moment. I think we're pretty good for the stuff I want to update. But the only thing I could really, like, force myself to get screenshots for were probably for, like, summons or something. Yeah. Save me the trouble. There we go. That's really it. But yeah, thankfully most of the Jar Saint stuff, at least the stuff related to the Newman women, I was able to keep to like 2 paragraphs, so like I'm hoping I'll be able to get the rest pumped out real simple. And the big issue is going to be that, yeah, Erdtree's beginning. I might need to roll it out in phases where, instead of me trying to do a comprehensive update to everything, now that I've done the removals, I just kind of add section by section. As I find myself happy with them. I think we're getting close to that point, so that'll be cool. Woo. There we go. Really? Can't roll through these, huh? Oh, that's fun. I just realized that Melina disappears in blue particles when she dies as a summon instead of gold. Well, that makes sense if she's more spirity, right? So... will Erdtree use of pots be there as well? I'll probably mention it for the Erdtree burial stuff. I'm not sure if I'll mention it necessarily in connection with the Jar Saint thing. Like, it could end up being something where it's like, oh, that might have played an influence. I don't know. Again, I'm trying to dance around the Hornsent stuff because I don't want to do the comprehensive breakdown on the Hornsent things. Like, I have a vague idea of their background and culture. I don't want to go any deeper into that because I feel like that's just, again, it's just going to take too much time. And again, chat, I need to... I know people want me to talk Elden Ring, but I really want to get back to Dark Souls and Bloodborne. I really do. And I feel like, with all the stuff I've been coming out these past few months, I've given people enough of that. Oh, oops, I forgot. Forgot how backstabs work in this game for a second. Ow! Asshole. God damn it. I thought so. Oh my god. Just gonna keep smacking me with that stupid lantern? There we go. You plan on talking about fire salamanders and Alkin and Ven update? Yeah, that is part of that. I'm going to be trying to include them, right? I am going to talk about them. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about like the fort stuff with Drang Lake and stuff because that's already there, or I'm pretty sure it's already there. Yeah, pretty sure I mentioned it in some of the other articles, like with Raimi and stuff. But like, I'm going to 100% talk about the salamanders in Alkin and Ven for the Iron Keep stuff. I'm going to be talking about, yeah, just going to talk more details about Broom Tower and things, and the iron and stuff. Like, in general, like, I have a list of all the stuff I want to include for Alkin and Ven, so, like, it's going to be great. Because, really, it just comes down to how radically do I have to rewrite everything to facilitate these expansions. Oh. Where is he? Where's our guy? Am I crazy? Oh, there he is. Like, where is this dude? I don't want to, like, jump down and I'm gonna get swarmed or something. There we go. I just would assume they would do the gold. Well, for me, the big thing with, like, we're talking about the Hornsent and stuff like that, it's just, like, there's so much with the Divine Spirit invocation and, like, all the other stuff. Like, it's this whole giant mess of different stuff and their connection with Rao and things like that. And again, it just becomes this endless trail of, oh, now I have to do, like, a breakdown, kind of have a general, more, like, detailed idea about Rao and its stuff and how it connects to the Hornsent culture and their development and stuff. Like, again, I have, like, a vague idea in my head about all that stuff, right? But I have to evaluate those impressions, see how accurate they are, if there's, like, evidence I'm missing out on or whatever, right? The shaman thing, though, I think I've been able to very cleanly talk about it while avoiding, like, getting too deep into the whole Jar Saint Hornsent kerfuffle. I think it's something where where anyone can slot in their thoughts or their existing knowledge on all that pretty simply. And when it comes to Dark Souls 2, Alkin and Ven's gonna be the big one, but there's also gonna be, like, Melfia. There's a few other smaller ones. And then I'm gonna probably come out with, like, Pharos, just so that way, you know, I cover, like, the last, like, quote-unquote major top. Because, like, again, Pharos is kind of, like, you know, let's be honest, Pharos isn't much of a character, right? He's more of a meme. But, gonna probably cover that. Beautiful. There we go. So Pharos is probably going to be something I cover, and that might be the last, like, new article I do for Dark Souls 2, and anything else I'll do, maybe, probably not going to post on the website. It's going to be too small, I just don't think it's going to be worth covering as a separate thing. Fire paper, yay! That's how you get to the boss room. You tried. I don't recall this type of chamber. Oh, wait, now I do. Yeah. Now I do. Now I do. Oh, God. Alright, so something like this. There we go. Beautiful. Also would like something like this. God, can I have that even, though? Mm-hmm. A little better. Overall, I'm hopeful that Erdtree's beginning is going to be simple to do, and then the question's going to be, okay, how much more Elden Ring do I want to keep covering before we get to Night Rain, which is coming next month, right? Because with Night Rain, that leaves me a relatively small window, potentially, of Dark Souls 2 content I might be able to pump out. Like, Alkin and Ven, obviously, it's a big thesis, and there's a lot to go through and add and rewrite and things, so that could end up taking up a lot more of my time than I really would like. Poison, huh? Poison, huh? Hot fun. They have soldiers and fighting and all that bull. Oh! Ghost lady? Ghost lady. Oh! Oh, she's dead. She's handled. All right. My biggest fear is for the dogs to get triggered, so we're gonna try to avoid their line of sight if possible. There we go. Oh no, the doorway is blocked. Whatever will we do? If this pillar wasn't here, we'd probably have the perfect angle. Damn. Where's my Bloodborne on PC with free cam? You know? Where is it? We'll get rid of you first. There we go. Now, thankfully with the Radagon's Reign and Lyrian Civil War stuff that I have in the works, they're already like well along their way, so I might be able to come out with more with both of those in a decent time once we're done with Erdtree's Beginning, but that really depends on how quickly I finish up with this Erdtree's Beginning stuff. Oh, of course. There we go. I don't know if this resets enemy positioning. I don't remember. I'm gonna hope it does. All I really want though is for a nice clean shot with these dogs. Cause we kinda have something like that, I'm pretty sure, on file, but it was from like the lower reaches, and it's got all the other stuff going on with it as well, so it's like, it's not really the best. Alright. This will have to do, I guess. Something like this, right? Yay! Yeah. Got about a month for DS and Bloodborne stuff, yeah. Which is why, like I'm saying, it's gonna really depend, like, do I really want to cover Radagon's Reign and Lyrian Civil War when I want to get to DS2 stuff? And I just know Night Rain is going to gather up. It's either gonna grab me by the balls, or it's gonna grab my entire audience by the balls, and you guys are gonna, like, be really clamoring. And you know, if there's some actual, like, genuinely, like, good, meaty stuff there in Night Rain, I'd like to cover it, right? If nothing else, I'd like it to use it as an excuse to cover Nox in the Eternal Cities, right? But then, of course, that requires that we cover Nox in the Eternal Cities. So it's like, oh no, that's gonna take me another forever to get to, right? And I'll be honest, I still don't know what I'm doing with the Nameless Eternal City and the Estelle stuff, because, like, all of that is technically, like, a shattering or post-shattering type content. So, like, I don't know if I'm gonna, like, include it under Nox, just so I can have it out there somewhere, and then move it if I ever get around to shattering, because shattering's a weird one, chat. Because, like, I can't talk, I have to, like, a shattering analysis, presumably a thesis, would essentially be me talking about, like, Morgott and all the stuff he does to try to prevent the shattering, and then doing, like, a vague overview of the shattering. Oh, there's the first and second defensive Lingdal, da-da-da, that's when Margit get really appear, right? Like, it's gonna be mostly that type of thing. Like, I'm probably gonna have to leave out a lot of the Rykard stuff, because I think that would be more appropriate for a Rykard analysis. So I'd have to, again, focus mostly on Morgott himself and the stuff that he does. And I feel like Tarnish should be its own separate thing, separate from the Shattering, because they're technically supposed to be a post-Shattering thing. So yeah, it puts me in a really awkward spot. Like, supremely awkward. Right? So do I include the Nox stuff and, like, anything that's, like, not shattering, but not relevant to other, like, it's not relevant to Godric, to Radahn, to Miquella, to Rykard, to Malenia, right? Like, God, I don't even know what I'm ever going to do about Malenia. Like, is Malenia going to be separate from Miquella? Are Malenia and Miquella going to both be included together? Like, ugh. Questions, questions. That's the problem with all these big, like, epic histories and stuff. Like, there's so many characters and so many, like, factions and plot lines and different independent stories that are overlapping with each other that, like, trying to disentangle it and making it something that's, like, a straightforward, logical, oh, they moved the corpses up here when I reload the game, I guess. Cool. That's gonna always be difficult. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. I might, but, yeah, like, maybe it's better if for Nox and stuff, I just cover that as is. With everything, including the Eternal City thing. Uh-oh. Alright, I'm cheating. Fine, I'm cheating. Oh, that's not what I want. Nyrin, could I stuff about the Shatterings to see where the spin-off world leads her? Honestly, I'm most curious about the classes, because most of the classes look sort of random or unfamiliar. So I'm like, are they going to be, like, expanding on, like, the world outside the Lands Between? Like, it's like, ah, yes, there are Hawkmen that exist somewhere in the world, right? Because I think that's one of the classes, right? Like, isn't the tank class supposed to be, like, a Hawk dude? Like, we obviously don't see any of that in Elden Ring proper, so what's going on there? I also like how the devs of Night Rain recently confirmed that DS bosses are just there for variety, lol. I mean, haven't they said this from the start? Like, they're literally there just to fill in the roster? Like, I always understood that to mean, like, listen, we know there's a bunch of bosses we can't use for story spoiler reasons, and we don't want this to ruin Elden Ring for any potential new fans who first start with Night Rain or whatever, right? Because different genres and all that. So, like, we were kind of in a rut, and then, you know, I went to Miyazaki and Tanimura and basically asked them, pretty please, can I use your the bosses from your games in order to fill up the roster? Hawkman, yeah, for sure. So yeah, if they've been like just reconfirming that, again, I have no issue with that because I feel like that's what they have to say. They have to basically acknowledge and admit that, like, yeah, it's not like this is a separate world, it's a spin-off, it's a separate universe, like they're just there for the funsies, like please don't look at it, because otherwise, as I've said before, the biggest problem that Night Rain has going for it is by feeling forced to include the Dark Souls bosses in order to, you know, like fill out the variety for the content. You're potentially going to do damage to both brands because you're essentially, you know, mixing universes in a genre of games that tend to take themselves more seriously, right? Like, there's always memes and meta references and stuff like that, right? But they tend to not do, like, a Smash Brothers style, let's just throw all our worlds together, fuck it, right? And that's why I think from the PR perspective, they have to do this, because worst comes to worst, right? Night Rain, like, flops horribly, right? It, like, dies within, like, 2 weeks or something. Right? If that happens, then at the very least, they can reduce the damage it potentially does to the brands by just saying, you know, it was just a silly little thing where we decided we were going to collaborate together. It's not like matter, and it's not going to hurt the integrity of the settings of either world, right? There to fill in and because the director thought it was cool. Yep. That's the best approach on how to reason it as well, right? From a PR perspective. Now, hey, it'd be really cool if Night Rain is like this really great game or something, and then we can just ignore all the Dark Souls bullshit, and just what's the word? Oh, whoops. Why is this here? If we can ignore all the Dark Souls bullshit and just enjoy, like, whatever allure stuff they get. But again, I don't know. I feel like the classes are the ones that are most interesting in that regard, because like I said, when you have, like, Hawkman and stuff like that, it's like, okay, what's going to be the story explanation for any of these guys? Hey, if it helps pay the bills for more single-player games, I'm all for it. I don't like that mentality, because that's how you get real, like, crappy slop or whatever. And if the argument, like, again, you never want a developer that's coming out with, like, bad or mediocre games, right? Like, you always want their games to be good. Now, it's not, like, the worst thing ever if they come out with a mediocre game or something like that, right? But ideally, you know, ideally, FromSoft wouldn't do what is clearly just, you know, them quote-unquote selling out. Right? But hey, we'll see with Duskbloods, right? Some people I know I've heard are concerned it'll be a trend or something. I guess we'll see, but I don't know. Listen, I'm happy FromSoftware's at least experimenting. I'll give them that. They're at least trying other genres and new things and seeing what works for them. The question is just going to be, well, does it actually work for them? Or are they so optimized for, like, the single-player experience with, like, multiplayer elements that, let's be honest, have always been kind of haphazardly stacked on top of their single-player games? That, like, branching out and trying out this multiplayer stuff is going to be a big waste for them. I don't know. We'll see. Nah. Nah. Yeah, it's also Miyazaki wanting to try to diversify so that way the load isn't all on him to come out with the masterpieces, right? FromSoft has earned the benefit of that. I am highly against giving any devs like the benefit of the doubt or any of that, because that's always just the excuse to say like, hey, there's red flags, but I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt, and then like, you know, consume tab product and consume more product, you know, that type of mentality. But again, we don't know. When the game's out, we'll know for sure. I am cautiously optimistic. And again, worst case comes to worst, we'll ignore the Dark Souls stuff anyway. It'll just be like, you know, it's that minor, you know, splotch that lore fans are just gonna be like, yeah, just don't pay attention to that. Just ignore that. And get to enjoy the rest. We went to just the first floor there. I forgot. We finished Is, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we finished Is. If Elden Ring would be in the next patch, what 1 or 2 characters would you think should appear? Market. Oh, I would love Market to be in Smash if you had to. It would be so funny. Like, they put him in Night Rain, and then you put Morgott in freaking Smash Brothers. Like, can't you just see it? How hilarious. Like, I can see the marketing. Just him being like, tarnished, smoldering with thy flame of it. And then, like, they do the reveal. And, like, it'd be so... Like, he just, like, jumps down into the Smash arena or something, and they reenact his cutscene. Oh, it'd be so funny. It would be so funny. Yeah, we don't need anything from Mario. Going back to Tomorrow. Let's go backwards, actually. I do hope, though, whatever next single-player experience they go for, whether it's a sequel or a new IP or whatever, right? I do hope that it's not going to be open world, though. Just because I feel like the open world games take so much development time, and if it's going to be one of those things where, like, we have to wait, like, we have the multiplayer titles, and then we have to wait years upon years upon years for the next single-player title from FromSoft, right? Now, if it's good, it's good. So, that's going to be the upside, but, like, I think some of the stuff that Bethesda has to deal with shows that, like, when you're taking forever and ever and ever, it creates more animosity. Margit's the Charizard of the Elden Ring universe. I would agree. I think he's one of the more iconic characters because he's such an early boss. Obviously, like, he's just well designed. He's a good character. And he's obviously a lot more marketable than, say, like, a Tarnished, right? Because the Tarnished is, like, again, it could be anyone or anything because it's a customizable, like, no-face character, right? So you have to pick, like, some iconic boss. And I think Margit, even compared to other FromSoft games, like, he's an early named boss who, like, really stands out and has a persistent influence throughout the narrative. Like, I can't really think of a boss that has that same type of appeal in other titles. Maybe Victor Amelia, but, like, she's kind of like a... She doesn't really have that same staying power that Morgott does. I think it won't be open world since they say Elden Ring is basically as big as they can currently make. I think Malenia would also be another one. Yeah, Malenia could also work. She could definitely, like, she's that iconic, like, there's the hardest boss in the entire game that's been memed on to death, right? I could see that. Imagine adding, let me solo her as an assist trophy in Smash. Oh. You know, I always ask myself, is it wearing the skin of a Pthumerian, or is it just evolved to strangely look like a Pthumerian? You know? Ow. Imagine Malenia fighting Sephiroth. Oh my god. The glazing. Oh. This is... Oh, I forget his name. The Tomb Prospector, right? Oh! I'm gonna see if I can reset this guy. Look, has there ever been an explanation as to why Vyke is on all the marketing material? I think content might have shown Vyke or whatever character his armor was based on being more important at some point, I think. But I can't say for sure because I haven't looked too deep into it. Tarnished, I consider its own separate thing that I have, again, basically ignored. I have ignored it like my redheaded stepchild. Really? 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 Let me solo her piece. Be some outfit which the Mii Sword character can wear alongside the katana. Oh my god. You know, if we're gonna sell out with Elden Ring, we may as well go all the way, right? When's the next Smash gonna come out? On the Switch 2, right? Honestly, knowing Nintendo though, they'll probably try to force like Duskblood's characters to be in. Oh. Alright, that was a mistake. I did not mean to do that. Oh my god, that'd be so great. Hey. Well, there's one thing I will say about Duskbloods. I am interested in them tackling something that seems to be a little kind of like Musketeers meets steampunk. Again, I think FromSoftware has always found really creative ways to explore, you know, existing tropes and things like that. Especially considering they love to reuse the same tropes over and over. So, I am incredibly hopeful with at least the story and world of Duskbloods. Even though, like I said, even if I cover the lore, I don't think I'm gonna own the game and take screenshots like I do for these games. I just don't think I'm interested. I'm just not interested in a Switch 2. There's no next Smash. Ultimate is the last. You say that, no Bray. You say that, but then they come out with Ultimate 2. They will find a way. Oh. This is why Meph having screenshots of these enemies on the wiki is so nice. Because this crap is so annoying. Hey, buddy. Every stage is a different time, apparently, so it'll be a hodgepodge of timelines. Oh, that's even cooler. He just whips Miyamoto to make 4. Yeah, when there's money to be had, never trust a corporation to let an IP supposedly die. Oh. Thought I heard him. Guess that was me. There we go. There we are. Yeah, I'm interested in seeing what becomes of Duskbloods. And I think once we have Night Rain, we'll have a very good idea of, like, you know, what direction exactly From Software wants to go with these types of games. Oh, whoops. Totally forgot that you're there, buddy. My bad. Mobby. Isn't there a free cam mod for the emulation? I do not have the emulation. That is my dilemma. Really? Don't worry, he'll eventually figure it out, chat. Alright, if you're gonna make me do this every time. He wants it to be finished, but he won't let anyone else direct one. Well, again, this is why, I am skeptical about this, because, again, Nintendo's gonna want to have more, Smash games made. So, like, they're gonna get made one way or the other. There's no way that they're going to have one of their, like, premier fighting, like, you know, Nintendo IPs not be playing on the new console. Now, maybe what they'll do is they'll bring in Smash Ultimate, and they'll just add more characters to the Switch 2 version of Smash. It could be something like that. There we go. Thank you for letting me stuff it up. Oh. There we go, perfect. And you're out of my way. Wait, am I crazy? Yeah, you were hanging the other way, buddy. What are you doing? What are you doing? What the hell is wrong with you? Hang from the ceiling like a proper goddamn old beast monster thing. Flying bat thing. Let's go. Come on, come on! Even on PS5, the load times are too long for me. Really? I think it's just fucked. Damn. That's a shame. That's a shame. Yeah, oh man. I think it's the quit and loading that broke him. Damn if that's so. Damn if that's the truth. Did I do that just in time? Ah, darn. No, I did not. Cares. There we go. Yeah, that one looked good. I just like taking shots of these guys. I like taking shots of them in this area. Oh god. I have to wait for these guys to walk back into frame. Don't you dare break that coffin. Don't you dare, I'm watching you. Oh my god, dude, come on. There we go, yes. Get out of the oil. I'm begging you. Just be photogenic for 5 seconds. No, the up. Oh. I swear, these enemies can't cooperate for shit. It's like they're opposed to me or something. The things I would do to be able to individually control an enemy and move them into place and then freeze them mid-pose. Just so I could set up the perfect looking shot. Proud of it. We do what we want. They're enjoying their Second Amendment with their flaming swords. Come on, boys. Come on, just get off from the edge of the screen, you fucking twats. Oh my god, what are you doing, you? It's like they're deliberately trying to get themselves stuck. Alright, yes, walk in. Good, good. Can the other guy walk the other way now? Yes. No, yeah, no. Why are you... There we go! Now, if the other guy wasn't, like, freaking dicking around... I don't know what he's obsessed with these coffins. Listen, the bodies aren't that tasty. Stop trying to sniff them. Oh, the oil. Alright, I've tried. Ow! 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 Wait. The guy saw me and tried to go after me, huh? Huh. Not the worst. Not the worst. Alright. Already have shots of the stuff here. Maybe sometime I should try doing some Thumeru root chalices just to get some of the variations of this you can have. Well, I think it's not just Thumeru. I think you can also get it in Izzy. Man, oh man. Man, it's gonna be great if I can get to Bloodborne and start working on finishing up Iz and stuff. Because I still have the Smotown outlines that I worked on a while back, and I'm like, man, those could be so easily converted into a full-on... Like, it's at the very least, like, an outline for a full analysis. It's like, it's very, very easy for me to put those into order with all the data laid out for me already. Now that I have the Chalice Dungeons, like, post, like, the basic overview, like, out there, and I've established the key points to understand about what the Chalice Dungeons are versus the Labyrinth, right? Yay! Yeah, I don't care. There we go. Chunky enemies. There we go. Oh, of course. Of course. There's always the garden. Ow. Of course he can shoot through the goddamn railing. There we are. Beautiful. Can't get any shots I want down there. Oh. Yeah, there's just Naked Man there. Unfortunate. Nothing really good. Nothing interesting to get shots of. Just a bunch of dudes with Naked Dude. Oh well. This is just guys with guns. Oh. Some of the flowers. Which isn't anything new. I forget, are there dogs under here? There are. Trying to see if I can get it slightly. There you go. There we go. I do not remember where to go from here, though, unfortunately. So, yikes. That's just a really cool shot to talk about those flowers in general, right? Like, one of them kind of just hanging from around the column, the other actually, like, stuck in the ground. Ah, there we go. There's our exit. I never looted here, and it's not actually our exit. Well, damn. That's awkward. Ow! Guess it's over here then. Oh. God, all the enemies are so chunky. Then we're back here. Okay. Okay. I'm pretty happy with most of the shots I was able to get here. Cool stuff with the dogs. Definitely not that one. Maybe. Eh. Definitely not you. Eh. What the hell am I looking at? No. No. No, that clipping on that side really ruins it for me. That one could work. Yeah, I don't like the composition for that one or that one. Yeah, so those two shots are the best. I think this one's probably going to be the best I can work with. Maybe I'll edit it so I can include, like, the other guy being lower here, so that way... I think it's fine as is. Oh. Woo! I will say, one of the nice things about the new PC and having the secondary drive is I have not experienced any issues with any screenshots or anything, or any stuff with involving file sizes and things. That's been nice. There we go. Disgusting. Oh my god. Freaking JPEG little root. Alright. Alright. I think I've gotten, like, most of what I would want to try to grab from Tumaru. I don't remember this place being that much more memorable compared to the other type of Tumaru Chalice dungeons, right? I think most of the unique stuff I'd want to get is probably in root dungeons, and by golly, we could be there forever if we did that. This would take us back, right? So, if I recall correctly, this should take us to the... This should take us to the Beast Boss room. Good old Bloodletter. Yep, I recall correctly. There's nothing special really about here. You have the side route here. Yeah. Yeah. And that's to the area we were just passed over earlier. Yes, there's not like not a lot to really dissect here. Tomorrow is going to be weird because it's going to be really big because it has so many different individual areas, and yet it might end up being still smaller than I expect, simply because there's just so much, like, you know, repetition and reusing assets and stuff like that. Like, I think it's going to really depend on how many, like, individual enemies I want to talk about in any degree of detail, you know? It's probably going to be something ordered, like I talked about Iz, then I talked about Tumeru, then I talk about Loran, and yeah, I think that's it. I think that covers all three. Alright. Okay, so this was a nice way to unwind, chat. I'm looking forward to finishing up the Elden Ring stuff. Again, hopefully Erdtree's Beginning, the Marika stuff, I'll be able to get done without falling down the rabbit hole with the horn scent. I'm gonna try to keep it as a light touch as I can. Oh my god. As a light a touch as I can make it. If I manage to, like, really get this Erdtree Beginning stuff done real quick, I'll probably try to finish up Radagon's Reign and maybe Lyrian Civil War, but I need to get back to DS2, because I really want to get to, covering Alkin and Ven, doing the update to Melfia, and whatever other little articles that I'm forgetting off the top of my head that still need to get the full treatment. Really? Another one of these gardens? Like, how many of these do you really need? Clearly a lot, because we have the dogs. Thank God he's a terrible shot. Thank God his aim is as shitty as Lele's. Actually, well, that's actually how you're supposed to pronounce it with Ashley, and I still can't believe that. I'm like, it's Ashley. Why would you pronounce it Lele instead of Lee? It boggles the mind. Wait, what the hell are you shooting? What? A rock? I feel like I'm crazy, Chad. Yeah, it seems like it's just a stone ball. It's like a slingshot, but it was made a crossbow. For some reason. Who came up with this? Looks like a round rock. It looks like a round rock. It sounds like a round rock on impact. I think it's just a round rock. It's like a slingshot, but they made it a crossbow. I guess it's supposed to highlight how the Tumerians have always been, like, super advanced, technologically speaking, that even their slings had crossbow tech incorporated into it before they invented guns, which admittedly would be pretty impressive. Still, though, that's kind of weird. Alright, where are you? Bigger eye pebble, lol. Where is it? Where's my boy? There you are. I knew my boy was around here somewhere. You know, make it look like they're not looking at me, but at the ceremonial altar thing, you know? There we go, cool. Invented crossbows, but not bolts! Hey, think about it. They went straight from slingshot balls to musket balls. It all makes sense. It's all consistent with the lore. Oh, God. Alright, so let me try to get a shot of the dogs, but with all these trees in the way, I think it's gonna be hard. Oh. I mean, that's a cool cinematic type shot. Holding a left hand, how cute, yeah. Alright. Damn. Of course, instantly found by the... I like how the dogs have less situational awareness than the freaking range guys. Alright, there we go. That's my cue, chat. Round rock is the pinnacle of technology. I mean, clearly, if the gun is proof of anything. The musket shows. All we need in the world is a bunch of round balls that we can fire at increasingly faster rates, and we will clearly have the pinnacle of all things. In Bloodborne 2, they're gonna invent a nuke, and the nuke is just a giant round ball with a bunch of, like, arcane energy in it. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I think this is the part where we end things here. I'm really excited to see where my, where the Elden Ring stuff is gonna go. Hopefully I'll be able to get some Dark Souls 2 stuff in before Night Rain, because I would love to be absolutely finished with Dark Souls 2 by the summer. And then we'll, I guess we'll see what happens from there. And then I can finally focus on, Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne. So all the Dark Souls 2 stuff will be out of the way, and then it's just, okay, gotta come out with the Ariandel and Londor for Dark Souls 3. Oh boy, that's gonna be something. Poor Ariandel, it's been sitting on the back burner for yeah, it's gonna be years at this point. Anyway, that's my problem to worry about. Thanks so much for those guys who wanted to chill with me. Happy Easter, everybody. The Lord is risen. Alright, later, bye-bye.